We're opening up Masters of the Universe Origins. Let's look at ManEFaces, a heroic warrior for He-Man's side of the Masters of the Universe. Got his 3-head function. Let's open this up and talk about the character and the figure. And that's another one that I always dreamed of having, looking at my back of the Point Dread book. So that's another one, another big one off the checklist for me. We can see this got kind of beat up, kind of ordering it online. So there's nothing else to do but to open it. So why not? Yoink. We got the comic, some of the figures from the wave like Trapjaw and Orko. Dope! Guess he took a bit of a beating there. Don't worry, we'll just change to robot mode. Reinstall the arm. Wonder if it was just like that in the package, or maybe it got a little bit of a bump in transit there. But we've got our ManEFaces here. Switch to robot mode with the robot face from the human appearance. Or, I mean, it's a little strange with his Ninja Turtle mask and such, but of course in the other way we have the monster face, Roar and such. For the Origins line, they have been doing new faces for characters like He-Man, Skeletor, Trapjaw, Man-at-Arms. So I would have liked to have seen maybe an open mouth monster face for ManEFaces. Just because it would have more color for the mouth being open and things like that. Probably would have looked cooler than going with just the original style of faces. So I do notice, at least, I didn't own the original figures, but I can tell some of the redesign, the way just some of the strapping and stuff goes up to his kind of head unit and things is a lot better. Kind of makes more sense that it's connecting to something colored and things, and the original figure kind of looked strange about the strap just kind of ending, or it was just on a piece that didn't get painted. It was just some skin tone piece, so it looked a little strange. But other than that, it's the same detail bits. We can see with the artwork that he actually had less color, just kind of had dark blue, light blue combo. Instead we have some of these like kind of purpley pink bits. Here he had an orange mask. It kind of has the same kind of maroon, pink, reddish combo. So a lot of these artworks usually look better, but I think the real figure kind of got better treatment this way. And here the way the straps and things are actually look more like this versus the original 80s figure. Good improvements all around, I would say, for ManEFaces. Let's get his ray gun. Interesting, they still do these little accessory packs instead of it kind of being visible in the bubble of the package. So I would assume this is quite similar, if not exact, to what the original was. Not that I ever had it. The picture here seems like it's kind of thicker there in the picture. This seems skinnier, so maybe they did kind of decrease the size, potentially. I don't know, I'll put comparison pictures here. We can kind of see for ourselves. Of course, he can hold this as his weapon if he's not just manhandling somebody. He can possibly switch to the robot mode just to get the better sight. He would have different abilities when he would switch the head, so he kind of maybe a Terminator looking layout when he's in the robot mode. He can kind of see and track enemies better. He'd kind of be more machine accurate. And then that would make him somehow not need to breathe air, so he could, if there's a room, no air or underwater, I guess the robot mode was a good one to go with for him. Doesn't make any sense, because what's going on with the human head? But it's Eternia, baby, so you don't have to explain such things. Of course, probably going into the monster mode, he wouldn't really be using his weapon. He'd just be using his increased strength, which is also a little strange that somehow he's just a change of the head, he's stronger. But again, it's a fantasy world, so that is pretty interesting. The weapon is just yet another color, the orange. You could see in that original artwork that his mask piece was orange like this, but here there's nothing matching his equipment. But then he just kind of looks cool with all these different colors and things. Especially you do something like that with the monster face, and all of a sudden he's got the green. Just one of the original Masters of the Universe with a lot of the other reoccurring heroes. He's actually the second story after the Point Dread story in here, in this booklet that came with the Point Dread toy, where he was kind of somehow controlled by Skeletor, kind of at first, but here you can see kind of the all blue instead of the colors we eventually got. Doesn't make too much of an appearance, but of the few stories I got to read as a kid, you know, with some of this book especially, and maybe only a few other books, ManEFaces being in there is kind of important there. That character that I definitely wanted, saw in the cartoon and all that. He's the actor. I'm not sure if the original figure could move its head, or if he was just a solid piece like this, but this is actually, he can move all sorts of different ways there. Again, in that picture, he kind of had more just natural looking skin, but here's kind of a more, you know, a yellow tinge, kind of a fantasy skin color. Much like the Evelyn, who has kind of a slightly unnatural tint to her skin type. I suppose that just kind of plays into how he's kind of been rebuilt or reconstructed in some way to have this sort of head-flipping mechanism. You know, there's a lot of equipment up in this head area here that is allowing him to do this. But not really any reused parts. He's got his own kind of torso piece and everything, and the arms. I'm not sure if ManEFaces parts got reused on other characters. We'll see as the line goes down here, because a lot of these are just using the same tricks of money saving from the 80s, where you're kind of reusing the same part, color it differently. But I think at some point they really started making the money, so you could do like original characters or characters with features like this. You know, this is kind of a unique for ManEFaces that he had the switching face. It was just kind of a toy concept. They put it into the character. Since I kind of had this helmet thing that you couldn't really do a He-Man with a flipping face. Otherwise, you'd have to have like a helmet or something weird to kind of hide the turning mechanism there. I'm stuck between two faces. So a great one that I can check off the main list of just heroic warriors, evil warriors that I just always dreamed of having, because I never got to have any of the original He-Man figures as a kid. I only had Point Dread, and then the new Adventures of He-Man toys were kind of my time. It's great to have a lot of these classic characters. I'm just collecting them based off of characters that appeared in the cartoon. So ManEFaces was in the cartoon for sure. I'm just going to limit myself in that way because I can't just buy them all. I got to have some theme, so that's the theme I'm going with, is everybody that appeared in the show. So we'll limit the teams in that way of the heroic warriors. You know, we've got Stratos and Ram Man still to go on the main checklist, but I know there'll be more characters that we can add for the heroes and the villains as I continue to open up Masters of the Universe Origins right here. And you can check out the playlist. I open them all here, and I open up all my other collectibles. Get subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. That is a great splash of color to add to these heroes.